basically had the attitude, let us try, let's tinker with the human race, let's tinker with the genetics, let's see what we can do with them, let's see what makes them tick. They ran us through all kinds of laboratories for a long time, and when they kind of perfected us enough, but the problem is, we all had our own attitudes, we had our own beliefs. We rebelled. We weren't very good at being slaves, because we can be slaves for a while, but then we end up rising up. And you've seen stories over time and time again of us rising up and trying to get our freedom back. They didn't like that. And you can see the attitude actually was finally written in the Georgia Guidestone, because our species eventually bloomed up into the billions. They didn't like that either. That's why they put in the Georgia Guidestone they wanted our race to be no more than 500 million. So our species have had dealt with a lot of slavery, not only to each other, but we were taught this whole slavery thing. That was actually a new thing. We didn't have that on our planet to begin with. We didn't have this slavery. We lived with a certain empowerment within ourselves, and that was just weird to them. And so they wanted to find a way to harness that. Not only that, they noticed that we had a soul, which is something they don't have. That was a complete enigma to them. And to this day, you can see with the AI and stuff, they have been trying to find a way to imprint some sort of a soul into some sort of machine, or they're trying to anyway. That's why they're trying to use all kinds of artificials. They're more familiar with that. You see throughout the Bible that mankind has been trying very hard to communicate what was once there. And we can see ourselves slowly coming back, a pendulum swinging the other way. A lot of the people have reported that even their own blood in their systems, in their body, is starting to crystalline again, which is what we used to have a long time ago. Now it's, the history's kind of a mess, but I know that we had a lot of beings throughout the year that were extraterrestrial that tried to help put things back on track for us. They were benevolent, and they tried to teach us how things actually work, and they would get us skewed, I guess, by the bad guy, bad actor, benevolent aliens and beings and so forth. Whether we saw them as gods or not, absolutely. I mean, why not? They all had powers and abilities that were considered amazing us, but we had those abilities too at one point, and they stripped that away, and they put us inside of a body, and they limited us. And you can see in our society, what's the one favorite thing they like to do? Limit. They love limiting us as much as they possibly can, take as much of our autonomy as they can. That's their favorite thing to do. So, it's all within our government. If you look at the energy pyramid, who's on the top? We don't even know. We're not allowed to know who's at the tippity top. But I suspect between what we know as gods, what we know as different ETs or alien races that have the power and capability of manipulating. Now, we talked about before in the past about the Stargates, and that's what they used to actually distribute the slaves, just like the TV show and the movie talked about. They did distribute slaves and people once they made them for mining resources in other parts of Earth, as well as maybe other parts of different planets. I actually believe that we were once a spiritual being that had abilities and powers, and we were slaves, and I see that at some